Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and hopefully it might just be a little bit of a connectivity issue. Um, okay, so tonight's introduction is to Ethereum and smart contracts. So we'll be discussing the difference between Bitcoin and Ethereum, uh, and exactly the code or smart contracts that make Ethereum different, the types of transactions that can be placed on the Ethereum protocol that differ from Bitcoin, and the tokens or the type of cryptocurrency that is on Ethereum. We will also talk about what smart contracts can facilitate, as well as what's currently happening in the Ethereum ecosystem and sort of what the future of Ethereum might look like. So first up, we'll go over the difference between Ethereum and Bitcoin. And looking at this slide, the most significant difference at the moment is the price when you first look at that. So it's about 22 times more expensive to buy a Bitcoin than one Ether. At the moment, as well, the market cap, which is the total market value of the cryptocurrency circulating supply, um, Bitcoin's is 990 billion, and Ethereum's is just at 278 billion. So a lot of this can be due to the fact that Bitcoin only has 21 million Bitcoin that can be mined in total. So it means that once the miners have actually unlocked all 21 million Bitcoins, the supply will be exhausted. At the moment, I think there's about two and a half or just under 2.5 million Bitcoins remaining to be mined. But whether or not there is speculation on whether the protocol will be changed or updated to extend that number, that 21 million. But really, it's speculation at the moment and a bit of a guessing game. Whereas Ethereum does not have an enforced cap. So currently, there's a 4.5% issuance per year. With the upgrades to the Ethereum protocol is looking to move to proof of stake, which is where a person can mine depending on how many coins they hold rather than how much work is done to solve the algorithm. And that could actually see the issuance drop to less than 1% per annum. So that'll be another interesting upgrade to sort of keep an eye on. But the major difference between the two that we'll be discussing tonight is the fact that the BTC network primarily supports the ability to transfer value and to transfer value without any third party intermediaries. Whereas the Ethereum network is an open platform which allows developers to create and publish, say, decentralized applications, NFTs, and decentralized finance that anyone can interact with. Uh, so, smart contracts are a code that runs on the Ethereum blockchain. So um, there is sort of two accounts that you can have on Ethereum. So there's external accounts, which are what you or I would have with a public key and a private key, and we have access to that private key. Whereas a smart contract has still a specific address on the Ethereum blockchain, but they actually have to pay to be there because they're using like the network storage. And so, a great analogy for the difference between Ethereum with its smart contracts and Bitcoin is that Bitcoin you can think of it as like an ATM with a single function. So it has the function of uh, handing out cash when you ask for it, pretty much, or to give you value, transfer value. Whereas Ethereum can be thought of as a computer where you can manage your finances, play computer games, you can pop on social media. Um, it provides a platform for general purpose, decentralized computer programs. So there are another difference between Ethereum and Bitcoin is the fact that Bitcoin only has one type of transaction, which is sending a balance, whereas Ethereum has three kinds of transactions. So you can still send balance, which is the scenario where I would say send one Ethereum um, to another wallet in return, in exchange for some money or another cryptocurrency. Whereas there is still transactions for smart contracts specifically. So there's transactions to upload the contract and then to execute the contract. So where miners on the Bitcoin protocol are repaid in Bitcoin for solving the proof of work algorithm, Ethereum actually repays its miners through gas, is what it's called, like car gas. It's required for the execution of a smart contract on the Ethereum protocol. And the amount of gas that is required for the execution is actually specified by the person who writes the code, develops the code. So ERC20 tokens. So ERC20 tokens are pretty much the standard interface for tokens on the Ethereum blockchain. So you'll notice that there are lots of different random tokens that you see people talking about on like group pages and on the news that Elon Musk will talk about. And most of these are on the Ethereum protocol and follow like ERC20. So Ether is the main token on the Ethereum protocol, and that's the one that we all refer to as Ethereum. The names are used interchangeably, but there, yeah, are thousands of alternative tokens, and anyone can write their own token. ePocket actually have our own token as well. Um, so there are a number of like day-to-day situations in which smart contracts will be utilized, I believe will be utilized one day. And that will be from anything that has logistics or a supply chain will pretty much benefit from smart contracts in the future. So say government, especially I guess in America, who are quite polarized in their government, uh, it would be useful to prevent the rigging of the voting system. So the votes would be ledger protected, which means that there can't be any human uh, interaction with those votes. It is purely whatever that person selected, that is how it is. There is complete transparency. With healthcare, so the private keys that we usually have for our wallets. So, say you're an ePocket customer, you have your public key, which is what you copy and paste when you want to, or you give to someone when you want them to send you crypto. But your private key, ePocket actually holds on to that for you because it's like a password for your wallet, but you can't actually retrieve it if you lose it. So we take that on board on behalf of you. So you only need to have your login details, which you can reset, and you won't then lose your funds. So the healthcare system would benefit from using smart contracts by encoding and storing information for each individual under a private key for each individual. So it's still of the highest confidentiality, uh, but it is still a public record, which is pretty much the same system as the whole crypto exchange works. And management. So, because it provides a single ledger, this minimizes problems in communication, problems in workflow between human interaction, as it's a completely accurate, transparent, and automated process. So, this can also go into logistics, so it can shorten the chain of third party agents, it can shorten delivery time frames, and like track transportation of goods. This tracking can also be applied to, say, the food and wine industry. So you can track the provenance of products, so you can prevent food fraud. But the industry that is, I guess, most interested in smart contracts is the financial services industry. And so that's like the payment processing, cross border payments, automated OTC contracts, and like streamlining KYC verification. So instead of having to wait for a day or two to verify your KYC documents, it would happen within minutes. So currently, so the financial sector has really sort of led towards decentralized finance and smart contracts. And so DeFi. So this has created like a global open alternative to the current financial system. Anyone can access this that has access to internet connection. You don't need to supply like ID or anything like that. You can just, as long as you can access a computer, internet, you, you can do whatever you want with your money in there. And also, we'll talk about non-fungible tokens tonight, just because there has been quite a bit of interest in that topic. We'll just go over a sort of surface level understanding of that. So, decentralized finance, ePocket itself isn't decentralized because ePocket obviously is a company and so it's centralized, but a lot of the elements of our business model, our software, is actually based around DeFi. So, with DeFi, you actually hold your own money. So that means that you control where your money goes and how it's spent. So to an extent, ePocket follows this. I mean, your transfers between different wallets or between other ePocket users' wallets is instantaneous, and your orders are fulfilled instantaneously on the trading exchange. The only area where there is a lack of control is, I guess, when you first withdraw and if you haven't done your KYC documents. As long as that's done for the regulatory sort of compliance side of things, you have complete control once it's in your ePocket wallet. Also, the transaction of funds on DeFi generally happen in minutes. With ePocket, they happen instantaneously, as I said before. Um, Transaction activity is anonymous, so this isn't applicable to ePocket. As we have to record things for compliance. But generally speaking, transaction activity throughout the blockchain is anonymous as you have a public key, and it's not your name or like bank details that are being sent around to everyone. It's also open to everyone. This is sort of applicable to the ASX. So, say the markets are always only open of like business hours because settlement has to occur. Whereas with decentralized finance, settlement happens instantaneously. So the markets are always open. You can always trade. There's no human limits on anything that you want to do. And the whole system is built on transparency. So its whole design is so that you can transfer a large sum of money to somewhere random, or a large sum of Bitcoin crypto to somewhere random, and you can be guaranteed a return on that. That there will be a swap on that because that's how the code is run. You don't need to trust someone to like. If I give you $3,000, will you give me $3,000 back? Like you're selling anonymously to another anonymous person. So, what are NFTs? NFTs, so non fungible tokens, are pretty much anything that is unique. So, its value cannot really be interchangeably sold with another thing. So, for example, a fungible item would be ETH or Ether with US dollar, because one Ether is about 2,500 US dollars. They're exchangeable with each other. So, non fungible items are, yeah, completely unique. Um, they're also, each single NFT must have an owner or a digital owner. And this is a public record, and anyone can verify this. Um, and they're also compatible with anything that's built on Ethereum. So if you have an NFT ticket for an event, that could be traded on any Ethereum marketplace for an entirely different NFT. So you can swap CD for a ticket, or a digital track for a ticket, or I feel old, or a piece of art for a ticket. And there's also the ability that creators, so if say if you are the creator of a track that is an NFT, they can retain their ownership rights, but they can also claim resale royalties directly. So every time that NFT is sold, the original owner may get 8% of its value or something, however the smart contract is coded. And the content creators can actually sell their work anywhere, and so it's a global market. There's no limits to it. Um, Examples of NFTs are like digital art, um, like armors and skins for gaming items, and then it can even go to financial products such as deeds. Or I know IBM were working towards using NFTs for patents and doing patenting. So it's got quite an extended use case for it. Uh, so yeah, so NFTs pretty much enable digital scarcity for creative works. So the original creator can actually determine how scarce that they want that NFT to be, um, and this pretty much, I don't know. I think it will create a new sort of art industry in some sort of sense, or it will bring a whole different level of value to items that may have already existed. So the future of Ethereum pretty much will be mainly focused on decentralized finance. I think because it is a lot of systems that can be automated, um, and a lot of systems that do have errors because of human interaction with it. I think that smart contracts will be easily applicable. Um, they are currently using the protocols to create building blocks that actually enable new financial tools. So they're tokenizing different industries and business processes in order to automate them. So I'm like tokenizing real estate, identity, securities. It really just takes out that entire room for human error, and yeah, increases transparency and therefore trust. So that's it for tonight. That was a bit of a quick one. I probably should have timed myself before the webinar. But if you guys are heading off to dinner and stuff, I'm sure you'll be happy about that. If you do have any questions or feedback, we you can email support. You can contact us over social media, so over Facebook or Instagram, Twitter, any of the above. Just feel free to go ahead and have a share. We also actually have the our new app launch. So I had a picture of it back here. So we've actually launched the new ePocket app, and your trading platforms on there. So we've got the Atomic Exchange on there. You can make your trades instantaneously on the app now. You don't have to use the web portal. I'll just pop up a feature pop up for you guys with the download. It was a little bit exciting for us. We do have remittance coming shortly as well, which will also be instantaneously. But yeah, we will be letting everyone know exactly when that comes out by email. Does anyone have any questions or queries at all? Awesome. So if anyone has any other questions, I will finish this up here. Thank you everyone again for coming tonight. And I'll send through the replay shortly so you can have it for your own use. Yeah. See you guys.